Welcome and welcome back. Hey, in this video, we're going to talk about a moment arm as it applies to the press. For example, one thing that I've been trying to do is get a heavier bell overhead for a maximum of 48 kilos. Wow, that's a lot. Can you do that? It's not a lot for him, but it's a lot for me, mainly because I have a few things going wrong. And possibly this happens to you. So stick around for this video while we talk about how understanding the moment arm can help your press go up. Show me your moment arm.
We were looking at video for his press, which is really coming along. It almost went up. So we did some video analysis, very, very helpful. And we discovered that rather than his arm being out to the side in line with his chest, how we want, with a little bit of a side bend, he had it forward here in front of him. What this did is it effectively increased the moment arm of the exercise, of the skill, and made it harder for him to manage. There are two things that it affected, and stay tuned, we're going to do another video on that. But this particular concept is the moment arm. What is that? First thing you need to understand is that weight is not just about mass. This is a 10-pound mace, but it doesn't always weigh 10 pounds. Weight is a combination of mass and how gravity affects that mass. And one of the things that will influence how mass interacts with gravity is moment arm. So I'm going to have Jeremiah hold this. He's going to be our force detector for the sake of demonstration. So go ahead and grab it right around my hand. Well, I explained what a moment arm is. A moment arm is the perpendicular distance, so think 90-degree distance between the axis of rotation. So you can see if he bends his wrist, this could actually rotate here. And the line of force. The line of force is where gravity is hitting the head of this mace. It's going to be right around here. A moment arm is a key component in torque. Torque is the turning effectiveness of a force. It's something that we look at in the exercise world because ultimately we want our joints to generate torque and to resist torque, which is, a turning force, is not actually that accurate, but we want to look at torque in terms of power generation and control of our exercises. And a key component is the moment arm. The greater the moment arm, the more torque. So what we see here is this is a relatively small moment arm. However, you can use the force detector to see if the force is actually going up. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this here, and now this line between here and here is getting bigger. Okay, so the moment arm's increasing. The force detector is not really detecting a huge change.
Yeah. Oh, the force detector is working.
The force detector is working. So now you can see. I'm waiting till he shakes and sweats. We can now notice that this line is getting bigger.
Oh boy! Okay. The force is on in this one.
So we don't want to break the force detector. But the idea is this is the same mass. This mass has not changed, but the way it interacted with gravity made this object effectively heavier. And when we have a kettlebell press, we want to look at our moment arms. Now, if you have, let's get a tiny bell. Let's get something appropriate for your current strength level.
Yeah. So this is my first day. Look, you're as strong as you are right now, but you can get stronger.
So let's go ahead and bring the press up where it was. So he had it here, and if you turn him to the side, we roughly have 90 degrees. Okay. So
plus I had a little bend, so
a little bit, but not quite as much. This area here was pretty much fixed at 90. Now that's with the arm straight out. He didn't have the ability to side bend very far. So if we're looking at the moment arm at the shoulder, okay, if we're looking at, this is going to be our axis of rotation, and the angle that the arm is to the body is going to influence that distance. It's going to influence the moment arm. So when he's leaning now to the side and we have this arm straight out and he leans away, this angle, rather than being 90 here, gets smaller. That influences the moment arm, and that effectively makes the moment arm shorter. When that moment arm is shorter, gravity produces less torque on his shoulder, and it makes that 48 kilogram kettlebell effectively weigh less. We want to keep that as close to the shoulder as possible. We want to minimize that moment arm because that's going to help him push more weight overhead. So when it was here, straight out to the front pretty much, he had a little bit of a lean, but he was still rocking right around 40, maybe let's call it 80 degrees. But as soon as he opened this up, lean to the side, got a little bit of a side bend, now we're looking at something closer to 45 degrees, maybe 50. Either way, all those degrees matter, and when you're as close as he is to pressing that 48 kilo kettlebell, these the extra degrees matter. Now keep in mind, 90 degrees is going to be the greatest the moment arm's ever going to be. So when you're looking at practical considerations, reducing the moment arm from 90 is always going to be preferable. Think about it, when you get the press above here, we start getting above 90, suddenly things start to get easier. Has to do with anatomy, but it also has to do with the physics of the lift. So we want to minimize the moment arm. Bringing the arm here and leaning away, change the angle between the torso and the shoulder, making that moment arm effectively less than 90. Once he got it up to right around 90, he was now able to wedge into the movement, and now he was able to use his body rather than just his arm. So we just used some physics. We use position to get him past that sticking point in the lift. I assume that 48 is going to go up any day now. There is one more important concept that we want to talk about next time in order to fully understand what happened. But for today, you just want to think about your moment arms. How do you decrease them in order to get more weight up? Or how do you increase them if you want to make something more difficult? If I want to make an exercise harder, then I make sure I get that moment arm at 90, because that's the heaviest something's ever going to be.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, hey, check out the next video up here, and we'll see you at that next video.
Okay.
Okay, stay strong.